Crazy Boutique are proud sponsors of Feferity Radio. A Crazy Boutique inspired by 50s and 60s African fashion nostalgia, yet quintessentially British with a London accent, creating custom-made orders for special occasions. A Crazy Boutique create unique hair and clothing accessories that are quirky, classic and stylish for both men and women. A Crazy is a zero-waste design boutique, sourcing distinctive and colourful textiles from remnants, making most of their items one of a kind. You can find A Crazy Boutique on Instagram and Facebook. For more information, email acrazyboutique@gmail.com or visit the website www.acrazyboutique.com.
You're listening to Feferity Radio.
Your style, my style, freestyle.
Feferity Radio, your nostalgic station.
Inside your mind, wanting to be free. let your mind be free, then you can understand mine. There's no need to be afraid of me. I want to be your friend. I'm just trying to give you music from deep, deep, deep within. All of your dreams can become reality. My outreach is full, but you've only been turning me halfway. Turn me up, and alpha and theta waves will spew from your pores. Knowledge, peace, happiness, and prosperity will be placed at your feet. Let's create, solve, love, accomplish, and unify. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam. That's right. We've come to the point where, you know, when you listen to this track or you hear this track on my show is the moment I speak. I'll be speaking to my special guests. And today is no exception because we have a formidable powerhouse in the building, Mohammed Yahya. He's a London-based award winner, bilingual hip-hop poet, educator, event organizer. Like I said, he's a powerhouse, man. And also he has performed extensively across Europe, United States, Mexico, Africa, South America, all over the place. And his face is on Sainsbury's, one of Sainsbury's ads, right? His work you can find in the British Museum, on all the top rank television network, and here at the top rank radio station. You can hear him as well. So I want to welcome our brother here, Mohammed Yahya. Assalamu alaikum, my brother.
Wa alaikum salam, my brother. Thank you so much for having me in the show. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome. So how you been doing, man? How you've been keeping this serious and difficult time?
Yeah, interesting times, you know, definitely interesting. I've gone through a different wave of emotions, to be honest with you. Once again, hurt, heartbroken by what the whole world saw, and but at the same time, I'm feeling very hopeful because I feel this is the first time that there's been a global uproar to this level. It's the first time that so many people from so many different nations, different backgrounds, different social classes, different races are actually speaking out and pushing. So I feel that I feel like I can almost taste the change. I feel like we are in a position where we can actually start creating creating real change, you know. That's why I feel hopeful.
Absolutely. And you, of course, in particular, you ought to feel hopeful because it's all over on your biograph and everywhere you performed, you know, that you were born during the time of civil war in your country, Mozambique. And you've seen the ups and downs. You've seen, you know, the way humans behave to humans coming from a different condition or situation. And you've coped and you've exceeded. And now you're teaching, you're encouraging, you're motivating others. So this kind of time for you, are you using it creatively to do your work rather than, you know, being afraid?
Am I losing?
Are you using? Am I
losing creativity?
Are you using it? I mean, this time to be more creative.
Absolutely. Like sometimes I believe that music, when it doesn't even come. Some of my music doesn't come from me, so I can't take any credit for it. I sincerely believe that. I sincerely believe that the music that's created sometimes just comes through me. It comes through me, but not from me. And I recently, actually just a couple of days ago, I just finished writing a new song dedicated to this current climate that we're in. And I could feel it in my heart. It was building, and I had to give birth to it. Literally, it was like that. I had to, because this is the only way that sometimes I know how to cope. Is the only way I can kind of express myself, and you know. So yeah, definitely a lot of creativity, but alongside creativity, trying to just learn, study. Share resources with people who don't know. There's a lot of people that want to help but don't know how to help. So it's important to kind of, one, educate yourself, you know, and then be able to share, use your platforms to share information, resources, and encourage other people to kind of come together and mobilize and strategize and move and take things forward.
Absolutely. And one thing I really admire, and also probably I think maybe it's time, you know, you kind of move on from that, is the fact that, you know, everybody knows your story, coming from a war-torn country as a child. But do you still refer to yourself, now that you're liberated in a way and you've got your identity now? I mean, are you still refer to yourself as a refugee?
I'm a person who experienced that was this is a difficult question, you know. Sometimes I struggle to even understand or realize where is home, you know, because the reality is, for those Africans like myself who live in the diaspora, when we return home, sometimes the people of our home country see us as foreigners to an extent. They don't see us as people like themselves, because I've been living for so long.
Yeah.
But yet, for me, I'm totally African and I'm totally Mozambique, 100%. Do you understand? So then I struggle when I'm there, and then I struggle when I'm here, and I struggle in Portugal. So it's like trying to navigate and figure out where is home. So this, I embrace my refugee experience because it's an experience that helps me understand and shaped a lot of thinking, and it also helped me become more empathetic to those who have gone through similar experiences. And it's made me want to work to ensure that people don't have to go through those experiences anymore. And I try to do it, whether it's for my art or through education, workshops that I deliver across schools and stuff, or other community work.
And it's really amazing. I mean, it's good that the way you put it, that even though born in Mozambique, like most, I mean, Africans coming from away from Africa, their respective countries would understand what you mean. And I think the reason why maybe they will look at us when we go back home as foreigners probably is the way we interpret what foreign is to them. That is one.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. And also, I think the reason, because they haven't seen what we've seen in terms of the West. So is that kind of like, is a kind of isolated reference, I will call it. But most importantly, I think, is how we interpret when we go home what foreign means. Right. But that is really good. It's a good point that, you know, your experience have born a very new you, a brand new you, because through that, you know, you other people will be so disillusioned, maybe find other path in life, but you try and put pen and paper together. That's where your inspiration, as you said, the music came through you from that experience.
Yeah, I sincerely believe that sometimes, you know, through great pain and struggles, some of the most beautiful things come out of that. Like, just the same way that a diamond has to go through pressure for it to become a diamond, you know? And absolutely, if I hadn't gone through those experiences, maybe I wouldn't be so empathetic or towards people who are going through similar experiences. Maybe it wouldn't even inspire me to create this art, because this art was created or initiated. I started rapping because I needed some kind of outlet, and that's what I used. So yeah.
Yeah. So you started in Portugal, Lisbon?
Yeah. I started initially just writing poetry, and eventually I remember even when hip hop came into the TV screens in Portugal, it was the first time I was seeing people represented in a really dignified way.
Right.
It was the first time that I was seeing people who looked like me and were wearing these African pendants. I remember Queen Latifah, an artist of that era, would wear these big African pendants and black fists and things like this. So I didn't understand what they were saying because obviously they were speaking a different language. But I was like, oh, I come from there. Oh, they look dignified. They don't look, you know. And the thing is, Portugal, what people don't understand, like in the 80s, we didn't have access to literature about us. So we didn't know about the great kingdoms and the great our great ancestors and the empires that they built. Our history, you know, they would teach history in Portugal, which was the first actually European country to start the slave trade, even before England. So they would teach the African history from slavery. And actually in the 80s, some teachers would still teach in school, and I can verify this from members of my own family, the Africans were only 3/4 human beings.
In the 80s?
In the 80s, they were still teaching the Africans were only 3/4 human beings.
After they've
So you can
benefited
imagine-
from our crops, like the cocoa, the yam, the cassava, and all of that, and they're saying that.
Yeah, exactly. Not just our crops, but everything.
I know.
Everything. Yeah. So
That's incredible.
everything, you know. It's absolutely incredible. It's incredible. And so when I saw these artists, I was like, wow, they look like me. So I was very intrigued by them. But it's only when I moved to London and I learned the English language and I was able to articulate myself, I was able to understand what they were rapping about. And what the rappers were rapping about from the ghettos of America and some of their social experiences wasn't any different from the social experiences that I was familiar with in Lisbon. I was familiar with even here, whether it was police brutality or unequal wealth share, or, you know, poor housing, poor education. Some of the things that they were talking, I could relate to that. So automatically I fell in love with it. And then I started rapping more. It moved from poetry to rap.
Right. Well, let's take a track. This one, our presenter was here, Lady A. Our show was all about hope. And this track we're going to take from you is called Hopeful.
Okay.
My special guest here, Mohammed Yahya, award winner, a rapper, a poet, educator, an event organizer. Here is Hopeful.
Yeah. All praise due to the Most High. Thanks for the sunshine, sublime imagery for the first time. Cherisher of mankind, Lord of the universe. I've become a better person, you can hear it in my verse. You're the most merciful, I'm the most thankful. I seek refuge in you from the whisperer of evil. Peace to my boy and his beautiful missus. Holy matrimony of the most opus lyricist. Granted a chance in life, I appreciate things you carefully construct to create. And I disapprove of hate with my bro J Sash. Shouts to Precise Daily Stone Fist, that steak looks nice. Fresh seasoning, sizzling grilled, that's what I envision. Chilling in the summer breeze with an open kitchen. Playing tag with the kids, water fights, milkshakes, ice creams. Calling Dia Dan, salam alaikum to my fam. We bow to our maker, humble in our hearts. Surrendering to peace, till death do us part. And no matter what the media says, we still make loud music. With dead prayers, no one can stop us.
World is yours, be hopeful. World is yours. This world.
Yeah, I feel great. This big one. Look, nobody knows what the future holds, but when the story unfolds, I hope it's glittery gold. Cause every cloud ain't got a silver lining, but I know the sun is shining. Told my brother look into the mirror to remind him I'm a reflection of the world's potential. On a higher level, physical to spiritual and mental. It's funny how the cycle come in threes. It's like the art, science, and math are getting free. And I'm high off the people like I'm smoking trees. Here's a toast to you and me, how it's supposed to be. Hopefully, libation to the ancestors. High to my nation, middle finger to the popo who arrest us. A'udhu billah Billahi min ash-shaytani rajim. Back to the devil's team. You see the gleam in my eye, know what it mean? Daddy got a baby girl, I see her in my dreams. And I'ma be there when she wake up in the morning to say, hey, the world is yours, what you wanna do today? Do today.
This world is yours, be hopeful.
Is never lost in the heart of a king. I march through a tortured landscape in this world full of sin. I hope for the best, prepare for the worst. Invoke the spirit of an ancestor when I'm spitting this verse. I take time to unravel the signs. Troubled times are reflected through these troubled minds. Orchestrated violence plus a bag of lies. I balance the truth within the scales of deception, accepting correction, so we turn the faults into positive lessons. Each one teach one, so we can liberate ourselves from the curse of Willie Lynch and let passages from the Quran symbolize our fountain of strength. This is dedicated to my people worldwide that struggle to stay alive. From Europe to Brazil, from Ghana to Palestine, may your cries being heard through the ink of my rhymes. United we stay, divided we fall. The future is blurry, so together we stroll. But until then, we remain scattered and broken and lost souls. Yeah, broken and lost souls.
This world is yours.
Well, this is a collab.
That's right.
This is a while back, actually. Such a banger. Hopeful, my special guest Mohammed Yahya. Tell us about this one, man. Go and tell us about the collaboration with this.
Yes. So that is a collaboration with three other artists. You have the singer there, and you also have Iron Braids, who recently changed his name to That Fly Hooligan. And also, it was a real honor because we featured one of my favorite hip hop groups of all time, who actually have one of my favorite albums. Let's Get Free, and the name of the group is Dead Prez. So it's one of the members from Dead Prez. His name is M1. He's the other artist, and it was a track that we released on a previous album over 10 years ago, actually.
Yeah, because I remember this one. So
cool.
Yeah, man. So you're working. I know you've been doing a latest. Sort of is a singles you've been collaborating lately with. That's what you normally do, actually. You work with different artists from all over the world, right?
Yeah. I try to kind of create a global community because I feel it's significant for us to kind of represent. And I love music. I love different artists, and a lot of times it's like I kind of build relationships with artists who I tour with, or when I travel to their countries, and then from those relationships we want to continue keeping that relationship, and we work on music together.
So tell us about a track that a single that you've done, No Trouble.
Okay, so No Trouble is a solo song. It's a song that it was actually my latest song that I released. It's probably the hardest song I've ever actually had to write. It's
Why?
A biographical piece because it's a very personal song. And I really had to go into parts of my memory which are painful, and I had to kind of go back into history. And it's basically a biographical piece about my experience as a refugee and the impact, the psychological and emotional impact that refugee experience had on me Even after moving to Lisbon, after moving to Portugal, where I was safe, in a sense of I was safe from war, but then I was open to other things such as racism and discrimination and other things. And, you know, and that whole refugee experience affected different members of my family, affected my father in a way, affected my mother. And that's some of those things I discussed in that song. So it was very difficult, but at the same time, I felt liberated after I completed it.
Absolutely, and it's very powerful because when you listen to the content and the way you lay it down, I mean, you can tell that's a very, very difficult one. But you know what? I mean, for us that listening to it, I think most of us, even not as similar to yours, but most of us has a very, very similar stories to tell in relation to, being taken away from your loved ones, movement from here to here, loss of friends, creating new identities and stuff like that. So that was a very, very powerful track. And as you said, commendation for that, for writing that, telling that sort of very, very personal but yet powerful story. And also, this 421 award that you were awarded in the UK, that recognize you for being one of the 21 young leaders in the 21st century. Tell us about that. That must be something for you, isn't it?
Yeah, that came as a surprise actually, because I didn't even know that I was nominated for this award, let alone that I won it. So there was this organization that kind of had a list of literally hundreds of people. So this was like, I think it was over 200 different people who they felt in the 21st century. And when they said 21, they mean it was 21 like people that were related to faith. So 7 Jews, 7 Christians, and 7 Muslims. That they felt were doing work in their community, whether it was legal stuff or through arts or whatever. And I just actually received a phone call randomly from someone from a radio station saying, "How do you feel about this award?" And I was like, "What award?" I think it was like, I can't remember. Was it Channel 4 or so? I can't remember what it was. And they were like, "Oh, you've received this award." And I was like, "Really? I didn't even know I was nominated for it."
Wow.
But then it turned out to be quite a big deal. It was in The Guardian. It was in a whole bunch of newspapers literally across the country. I had to actually go somewhere and receive the award. And it was a real blessing, to know that you do work not expecting anything. You do it because you feel passionate about and you want to create a real change. And so many times we see, and I'm by far definitely not a hero at all, but what I mean is, like, I have so much respect for the unknown heroes who do work day and night and we don't know their names, we don't know their story, and we celebrate our leaders and people who had a great impact in our societies and our communities, which is great. But there's so many people that we don't celebrate and we don't know. We don't even know that they existed.
That's right.
So to be recognized for anything that you do, it's a real honor. And it was humbling for me. And he also encouraged me and gave me passion and power and strength to continue doing what I'm doing.
Absolutely. And when it comes to stereotypes, you tick most of the boxes. I mean, like it says on you. I mean, you just said refugee. No, African, refugee.
Yeah.
Muslim.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Is there any time you get used to these pick and choose of stereotypes from people?
Do I sense myself picking it?
No, I'm saying, is there any time you get used to it? Because it's part of your identity, and that is.
The stereotypes. I mean,
yeah.
I try not to get used to it, because if you get used to the stereotype on yourself, then you start to normalize, and it's not normal. It shouldn't be normal, and it's wrong. So I'm aware, and I expect people to have ignorance, but I don't get used to it. I try not. It still hurts me. It still affects me when it's being done to me or any other people. And this is why I go to schools. This is why I go to prisons and youth centers and challenge these stereotypes, and have these conversations in different spaces.
Well, let's hear one of your track again, that you just talked about, No Trouble. This is a personal experience for you, a personal story, and let's all enjoy it and listen to it as well attentively. My special guest, Mohammed Yahya, a rapper, a singer, award winner.
Thank you.
And this is one of his tracks, No Trouble.
12th of December 1980, arrived at this earth at a time so crazy. Streets are painted with blood and hatred. A civil war is what I'm facing. Instead of celebrating independence that we gain, we radicate each other cause the greed we contain. People say debating, adding to the flame, but self-hatred so deeply ingrained. But mommy couldn't see a future here for me. Child rebel, soldier wasn't what I was supposed to be. And if safety's not found within your home, then just maybe it's time for you to roam. So we barely took more than clothes on our back, fled to Lisbon and never looked back. One day we'll see the light, away from all the pain. We struggle in this life, we pray for brighter days. We dream of peace at night, away from all the pain. We struggle in this life, we pray for brighter days. One day we'll see the light, away from all the pain. We struggle in this life, we pray for brighter days. We dream of peace at night, away from all the pain. We struggle in this life, we pray for brighter days. Maybe I'm too small to understand how daddy really feels. Stress in his eyes, but the pain he conceals. Waking up in cold chills, nightmares reveal the violent scenes he has seen. Scarred by the screams of war-torn victims, hacked off limbs, torn ligaments, shrapnel in their skin. Child rebel soldiers murdering the next of kin. Damn, this war that killed my people forced me to relocate to Lisbon. Here I am with no home to live in, sleeping on the floor of an abandoned building. No celebrations or toys to play with. I hate this place that my mom had faith in. Is my life wasted, potential taken, or strength be gained for the trials I'm facing? One day we'll see the light, away from all the pain. We struggle in this life, we pray for brighter days. We dream of peace at night, away from all the pain. We struggle in this life, we pray for brighter days. One day we'll see the light, away from all the pain. We struggle in this life, we pray for brighter days. We dream of peace at night, away from all the pain. We struggle in this life, we pray for brighter days. Finally, daddy got a new job. Mommy happy when we left that squat. Couple years later, their marriage fell apart. Now fighting in the night, Lord, make it stop. I'm scared, confused, sat in silence, traumatized by domestic violence. Never thought daddy would act like this. Beat mom so bad that he broke a nose bridge. I can't condone this, I'm feeling hopeless. I'm barely 9, but already know the difference between wrong and right. My parents broke up and I'm all choked up, far from grown up. And then one day he sat and told me, Mommy's staying, but we'll be going. Put me on a plane with clothes in a bag. We flew to London and never came back. One day we'll see the light, away from all the pain. We struggle in this life, we pray for brighter days. We dream of peace at night, away from all the pain. We struggle in this life, we pray for brighter days. One day we'll see the light, away from all the pain. We struggle in this life.
There's a message coming through that a very, very powerful track. Wow. And you can send your message on the line through the website that you're listening. Oh, look at that. Look at that. How powerful. Welcome back, Mohammed.
Hey, brother. Thank you.
I could not tell my life story like that in 4 minutes. That's very powerful, bruv.
Thank you so much.
You know, the first time you sent that to me, when I listened to it, and I felt very emotional. It's like you're with the commentary, you're with the conversation that you were having. You know, it's one of them tracks that you just have to pay attention to it. And the plane taking off, landing, and the message from the announcement from the airport. You know, most of us have, especially coming from the continent or elsewhere, have an experience of that. That just rings a bell. Powerful. I mean, when was this released? I mean, this is early this year, right? Or
Yeah. This is like last month, literally. Just a couple of weeks ago, I released that.
Yeah. That's very, very powerful. And you've been working also with a Ghanaian artist. And you want to tell us about that? Yeah. So, I mean, last year I had the opportunity to travel to Ghana. I was in the north of Ghana working on a project in a school, trying to build some water filtration systems and a school in Tamale. Yeah.
And then I also spent some time in Accra. And whilst I was in Accra, in the capital, I met up with really dope Ghanaian musicians, like live musicians. And they also introduced me to other musicians from Nigeria, which were currently living in Accra. There's a lot of Nigerian musicians living in Accra. And so it was actually me and a Nigerian musician. His name was Shinaz. We went to a studio of a dope producer called VT, and we recorded that track. And then I recently got it remixed by another. It's called Keke Pasa. Or Keke Pasa means what's going on. So it's kind of like a political, kind of social political track and addressing the African leaders.
Oh.
Yeah.
I'm sure you've been through enough trouble, so there is nothing really you're afraid of.
Yeah. Yep, that's right.
So let's take a listen. KK, is it Keke Pasa, yeah?
Yes, Keke Pasa.
Well, you're listening to my special guest, Mohammed Yahya from Mozambique, a rapper and a poet, educator, an event organizer. This is new, one of your latest as well, isn't it?
Yeah, this one is actually unreleased. So, we're sharing it here on Feferity Radio. Yes, it's an exclusive one.
Man, you going on an Afrobeat, man.
Yeah.
Well, it's something that we all will enjoy. Let's enjoy it. Keke Pasa right here on Feferity Radio, produced by Mohammed Yahya.
From the truth they stray. Believe me now, we no play. Corrupt leaders we cannot obey. So they try to deceive us. So policies only for show. Knowing well they cannot cope. With them in power there could be no hope. So I speak for all my people. Had enough of all this evil. Bend the laws to suit their ego. Policies they never keep to. Where I look it's all the same. Africa in so much pain. De uma puta até a Accra. Diz-me só o que é que passa. O que é que passa? O que é que passa? So-called leaders put us in debt. No healthcare, but they still got a jet. Multiple homes, international chef. Trailer new cars that he loves to collect. Still got the nerve to demand respect when he turn on the people he's supposed to protect. But the only concern is the mullah he gets. Okay. So I speak for all my people. Tyrant leaders, we don't need you. Bend the laws to suit your ego. Promises you never keep to. Where I look, it's all the same. Motherland in so much pain. De Abuja até Mombasa. Diz-me só o que é que passa.
Fire today, fire tomorrow. Fire today, fire they don't know. Kiniti go no. China lati ya. Que pasa? 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 Que pasa?
This is hot.
The lies they say, yeah. We never come to play. We didn't come to play, nah, nah. Time for a brand new day. Time for a brand new day, yeah. And I can really see the change. I can really feel
This is really hot. My goodness, man. Oh, Mr. Yahya, huh? You know, I just imagine, like, you know, in my event, just playing this and mixing up with Davido and all the rest, like Bono Boy and R2B. My goodness. Yeah, man. So is this a new, I mean, I'm sure you, I mean, you know, you are very, very talented, but this really sits with you very well, in my opinion. This Afrobeat.
You're definitely gonna hear more of that. I've been creating definitely more of that sound, and also incorporating actually more Portuguese into my music. So the new stuff that you're gonna hear is a lot more melodic. But I love music. I mean, I came from an era of boom bap, but I'm kind of moving away because music changes, and I'm also inspired by new sounds. So I'm definitely exploring a lot of Afrobeat sounds. I'm also exploring a lot of, even in terms of like hip hop, I'm exploring more trap beats. I actually have a song that I released this year, which is also on Spotify, called Battle My Demons, which again is a very like kind of trap orientated sound. But yeah, man, I'm really, really open to just explore different sounds and different genres.
And in 2019, tell us about the award. I mean, you were awarded in 2019. Received an award for the best performing artist song, Say Mashallah. And that you're featured with also a top, rapper, Khalid Siddiq.
Yes.
And
that's right.
and Kasim Gray. Tell us about that award, man. That was big, massive, isn't it?
Yeah, that was again. I was super honored to receive that award. So I really want to big up my brothers, Khalid Siddiq and Kasim Gray. And to be honest, it was Khalid Siddiq's. He's the one that he was like the brains behind that. He originally picked the beat and he created the hook and kind of done the verse and showed us the idea and then presented it to us. And then me and Kasim Gray just went on it and featured on it. But it was a lot of fun, man, because these other two individuals, they're not just like remarkable artists, but they're really close friends. So it's always great to create music with people that you love and you have a relationship outside of the music, you know? So it just makes it more natural. We're all super supportive to each other, also recording it and everything. We just want the best for each other. So yeah, and it did really well. Even on YouTube, I believe now it's like just under 2 million views that one received. And literally, like we had such great feedback from musicians and people all over the world, from Saudi Arabia to Jordan to Portugal to America to here, Africa, and like, you know, even people like Lily Allen, the musician, she posted it on her Insta stories, you know. So yeah, it was dope.
Okay, well, let's take the track for us to enjoy here, for those of us listening to it for the first time. Say Malasha just a little bit, and then we can go on to one of your main tracks as well.
No problem.
Say Mashallah, produced by Khalid Siddiq.
When you see me, say mashallah. Look at my eyes, look at my life. Price went up, say mashallah. Look at my car, look at my yard. Thanks to Allah, say mashallah. Look at my health, look at my wealth. Man's doing well, say mashallah. Look at the gang, look at my fam. Check my account, say mashallah. Look at the ice, look at my life. Price went up, say mashallah. Look at my car, look at my yard. Thanks to Allah, say mashallah. Look at my health, look at my wealth. Man's doing well, say mashallah. Look at the gang, look at my fam. Check my account, say mashallah. Say mashallah when you see me. Can't no bad haters pre me. 2-2 prayers when I step out the yard, man, I need no wish, no genie. Can't no say man them envy, and I know couple gal them too. So when they ask who's living that blessed life, put it my way, my G, better tell them. Pray my salat in the morning, check my phone, that's wifey calling. Tell a baby girl chill, let me stack these meals, give me 2 or 3 years, man's balling. Certain man are asking how, them money ain't got no faith. Cover just last year, I was pushing out rental, what's next year when I'm whipping that brief? Look at my ice, look at my life, price went up, say mashallah. Look at my car, look at my yard, thanks to Allah, say mashallah. Look at my health, look at my wealth, man's doing well, say mashallah. Look at the gang, look at my fam, check my account, say mashallah. Look at the ice, look at my life, price went up, say mashallah. Look at my car, look at my yard, thanks to Allah, say mashallah. Look at my health, look at my wealth, man's doing well, say mashallah. Look at the gang, look at my fam, check my account, say mashallah.
Some of her man are hating on QG, cause the curls in my beard look coolie. From a young and always been unruly, pull the track back, spin it like a Sufi. Say mashallah when I roll through, cause the gang them lit, I done told you. So don't phone my phone, I won't phone you. You don't know me, I don't know you. Came in with a new style, new flow, bars out of the earth like Pluto. Plans be IG like a sumo, been kicking it with bros like judo. Same crew, same act, same fam, same clique, same mob, same clan. That's gang. And most of you guys are hating, but wanna be part of the gang.
When you see me, say mashallah. Look at my ice, look at my life, price went up, say mashallah. Look at my car, look at my yard, thanks to Allah, say mashallah. Look at my
that's very incredible, Mohammed there. I mean,
thank you, brother. Thank you.
I think, this is really good because it's breaking, the taboo. Back in the days, growing up as a child, for a Muslim person to even take up music and say you're rapping, I think that was what you call not halal.
Yes, absolutely.
So what is the sudden change in reference to Muslim rappers now? What is the sudden change that is more allowed, more support behind the Muslim rappers?
To be honest, on a more mainstream level, hip hop and Islam has always gone hand to hand.
Is it?
Absolutely, brother. Absolutely. If you look at Wu-Tang Clan, a lot of them are Muslim. Like Ghostface Killah's Muslims. Like so many of them are Muslim, or they were members of 5%ers, which was an offshoot of Islam. So you look at Lupe Fiasco, you look at Freeway, you look at J Electronica, you look at going back, even some certain members of Public Enemy. Like there was always references to Islam, always Salam Alaikum, peace. So there was always references to Islam, and so there's a bunch of rappers. Even Snoop Dogg considers himself to be a Muslim. Like there's so many. I could literally be here all day, but within the more conservative community, the Muslim community, they saw music as something that wasn't positive. Some people would even go as far as saying it's forbidden. But it's interesting, and these are some of the things that we had to push within our communities, because a lot of people that would say that would be Arabs or people from the Asian community, which felt like hip-hop was haram, but yet they would listen to music coming out of their own countries, and that was okay. Do you understand? So even within that, there's a level of prejudice and a level of racism, because our music, because it wasn't their music. Our music was seen as negative, So but then these are the misconceptions and stereotypes, is what we were talking about, that were carried by the older generation. But the new generation, which is born here, who are not carrying these things, and they understand, they don't see it like that, and they appreciate it, and they embrace it, and they know that someone is representing their voice, which is very, very important. So, and
they pray 5 times a day, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, let's take another track from yours. This is another new one as well. Kuro, tell us about this one.
Yeah, so that track is with my sister Serena Leah.
How is she doing?
I perform as a solo. She's doing great. She's a super talented sister.
Because you two are known as Native Son, isn't it?
Absolutely. So I'm a solo artist as well as, did a lot of projects with Native Son, myself and Serena Leah. And we worked for over 10 years together. So she's my real sister. She's very talented, not just as a singer, songwriter, performer, but also a painter. She's got her own label, and she does a whole bunch of different things. So that was one of the songs that we released, which I actually created the whole hook. And I had this idea, and Serena understood it, and we were able to like just go to the studio and push it. And Quiero means basically I want, and it's talking about again injustices and things that you want to see in society change, things that you want.
Great. Well, let's take a listen to it, and also we've got Black Man's Train as well to listen to here. But my special guest, Mohammed Yahya. This is the native song. Well, part of the group with a sister there. And with a sister, and this is Kuro.
Quiero freedom, yeah, I'm quiero dignity, I'm quiero justice for us now. Quiero freedom, yeah, I'm quiero dignity, I'm quiero fist up if you're down.
I reject your lies, all sorts and types. Manipulating hate through the games you play, I can tell you're sly. Never shut my eyes to your disguise. Wanna test, come try to distort the truth, but I won't suffice. Even though you try control, you'll never own our soul, cause we're more precious than gold. Yes, we're fighters, we're survivors. Your perception won't define us. Our beauty you will not hold. Quiero freedom, yeah, I'm quiero dignity, I'm quiero justice for us now. Quiero freedom, yeah, I'm quiero dignity, I'm quiero fist up if you're down.
Making my vision come nearer, seeing the picture get clearer. All of the doubts and the fears fall down. Knowing the power's in me to lift the balance, see I'm wise enough to be the higher me. No one will get in my way. Today is my only day to slay the dragon that tries to stand in my way. Fire upon fire in sight, together we lift the light. Keep your hopes alive and stand in this fight. Quiero freedom, yeah, I'm quiero dignity, I'm quiero justice for us now. Quiero freedom, yeah, I'm quiero dignity, I'm quiero fist up if you're down. Quiero freedom, yeah, I'm quiero freedom is to lose your truth. Quiero running to the freedom, yeah, I'm quiero freedom is to lose your truth. Quiero freedom, yeah, I'm quiero dignity, I'm quiero justice for us now. Quiero freedom, yeah, I'm quiero dignity, I'm quiero fist up if you're down. Quiero freedom, yeah, I'm quiero dignity, I'm quiero justice for us now. Quiero freedom, yeah, I'm quiero dignity, I'm quiero fist up if you're down.
Superb. That is another one as well. Is that that is got a Afrobeat sort of like kizomba sort of like flex on it?
Yeah, I don't even know how to box it. I don't even know what genre to put it in, and that's what I mean. You know, sometimes we limit stuff by calling it this or calling it that. I don't know what it is, but I like the beat. And as soon as I heard it, I was like, right, we need to do something on this.
It is brilliant. You know, Mohammed, I really thank you for coming on today, for expressing yourself and introduce your songs here to our listeners here on Feferity Radio. I know you've involved a lot with interfaith. You're doing a lot of work. You're curating, and also you're organizing events just to bring, to the people, break down the stereotypes as well of you know, how people think about, especially Muslim, because you know it's like their faith was once been attacked. And it's a great work that you're doing, and you know, we want to encourage you to keep it up. And also, if you've got any latest release you know, that you've done, we're here to support you and all of the brothers that are doing great works here, not just here in the UK, but also in the continent. Before you leave us, tell us about the Black Man's Train.
Okay, so that one was interesting. That's a song that I actually wrote quite a few years back, and then I had the opportunity to work with a really dope filmmaker Mexican filmmaker who's based in LA. So I flew him to Senegal, and we shot a music video for that. And Black Man Strain is really about the injustice, the continuous injustice that you see towards people of color, black and brown people all over the world, you know. And what we're seeing now, it's funny because even on the track, I talk about, you know, being choked to death and being strangled to death. And like years later, it's still as relevant as if it was released yesterday. But as we know, like this is so much more than just individual racism, but systematic racism that's deeply embedded within the fabric of America. You know, it's sad to know that America is still absolutely. But I mean, exactly. But looking at America alone, like we know that United States of America is the country with the highest number of incarcerations. Like there are every year there's 10.6 million admissions into prison every year, and it's crazy how it's crazy because this is a population of in terms of the global population, it's a country that has a population 4% of the global population, yet the number of people that go into prison equals 25% worldwide. Okay. The numbers are, you know, so it's crazy. It's crazy.
So this track, the Black Man's Strain, is all to
Black Man's Strain.
Yeah, to bring to the consciousness of what is happening.
Absolutely.
I mean, we got about a minute. Do you want to send a shout there to anyone, and then after the break, we'll play the Black Man's Strain?
Yes, shout out to Serena Leah, shout out to Cambio for producing this, also for Ahmed Ikhlas for singing on the hook, and everyone has been supporting me in my career over the years.
Fantastic. Well, I want to say thank you very much, Mohammed Yahya. Go in peace. Assalamu alaikum, and we'll continue to do our best to promote your song here on Feferity Radio.
Thank you. Thank you, brother. Thank you. Peace.
Thank you, sir. Peace. Mohammed Yahya from Mozambique, and has done great works here in the UK, Portugal, and everywhere. And his sound, you can find most of his work on the various BBC, Asian television network, Al Jazeera, and done a great work and still continue to break down the stereotypes through his music and also the work that he's doing with different organizations here in the UK and elsewhere in the country. Well, we're approaching the top of the hour. When we come back, we'll play Black Man Strain. You're listening to Feferity Radio.
All day, every day, playing your favorite songs. This is Feferity Radio.
Went to Africa and you told the Africans that they must all become Christians, because if they become Christians, when they die, they will go to heaven, because heaven is a wonderful place. Ladies and gentlemen, if heaven was such a good place, do you think white people will tell black people about it? So we came to England with all the expectations of being equal. Here we are in the mother country. The white man can't come to terms with it. And I'll tell you something, as I've said before. If you English people, not white people, if you're not English, you're welcome to stay in England. If you're English and you don't like the way we are running England, please leave.
A Crazy Boutique are proud sponsors of Feferity Radio, a crazy boutique inspired by 50s and 60s African fashion nostalgia, yet quintessentially British with a London accent, creating custom-made orders for special occasions. A crazy boutique create unique hair and clothing accessories that are quirky, classic and stylish for both men and women. A Crazy is a zero-waste design boutique sourcing distinctive and colourful textiles from remnants, making most of their items one of a kind. You can find A Crazy Boutique on Instagram and Facebook. For more information, email acrazyboutique@gmail.com or visit the website www.acrazyboutique.com.
You're listening to Feferity Radio. Feferity Radio, your nostalgic station.
Your style, my style, freestyle.
Black Man's Strain.
Kings to stage, we radically strayed. My people inflicted with torture and pain. Our histories, I'm trying to disclaim. Keep us enslaved in mental chains. Police abuse, everyday face. Natural resources, everyday rape. Anger inside, should I restrain or get up and march them under the change? O povo não unido é povo enfraquecido. Roubaram o meu people, mas sou eu que sou bandido. Hey, truthfully, we wanna be free from police brutality. The fallacy still it remains, cause surely we know we're not treated the same. Why must the black man strain? Why must the black man strain? I know there are some who try to deny the things that I say, they call it a lie. Read the statistics, give it a try. Open your mind and you'll be surprised. Poor housing, no education herself. It's like they want us to fail, giving us hell, beat us around, or locking us down inside of a cell. Regardless of the strain, yes, my people will prevail. They may enslave our bodies, but our spirits will rebel. Truthfully, we want to be free from police brutality. The fallacy still it remains, cause clearly we know we're not treated the same. Why must the black man strain? How many more were still from the poor? I'm seeing my brothers get choked on the floor. The innocent killed in the name of the law. Lord, I swear I'll never conform. Raise up a storm, run up the dunes and return in a storm. Demanding our right to life must value our sacrifice. But how can we strive if we never unite? We turn on each other and bust off the pipe, neglecting the fact we are beings alike. Brother, it's time to shine your light, allowing your beauty to come alive. Truthfully, we want to be free from police brutality. The fallacy will always remain until the day we're treated the same.
Feferity Radio, best for African music.
Wow, the man is versatile, man. Mohammed Yahya and Ahmed Aklas. Black Man's Strain. Too many cries. Too many pains. But never give up. Many thanks there to Mohammed Yahya. You can check him out on Instagram, Facebook, on all the social media. What a great contribution here on Feferity Radio, and a great talent as well. You know, we've all endured a lot in our life, but you know, when you listen to that of his latest single, No Trouble, tells you all about his experience, and that is a really, really powerful rendition there